Hello friend, I'm Hope, and I'm really glad you're here today. Welcome to Psychology with Hope, a calm space for your mind, your emotions, and your growth. Here we don't rush healing, we don't chase perfection, and we don't pretend life is easy. Together we explore the psychology behind human behavior, emotions, habits, relationships, and personal transformation. No pressure, no judgment, just understanding. Because when we understand our minds, we begin to understand ourselves. So relax your shoulder, take a slow breath, and let's begin. Have you ever met a woman who seems interested in 10 different things at once? Today she's reading books, tomorrow she's painting, the next day she's learning guitar, and right after that she jumps into yoga. What is most surprising is that she's actually good at everything she tries. She seems to possess a mind that absorbs skills like a sponge. But society often looks at these women with strange, skeptical eyes. People say, she just can't stick to one thing. They label her as flaky, unfocused, or restless. But is this diversity of interest truly a weakness, or is it actually her greatest psychological strength? In today's conversation, we are going to explore this very topic. We will dive into how these women are wired differently, what goes on in their minds, and why society struggles so deeply to understand them. So if you know a woman like this, or if you are one yourself, this space is created specifically for you. Stay with me until the end, because we will close by talking about how these women can harness their unique psychological trait and turn it into their absolute power. First, let's understand how to identify these women and how science looks at them. In the field of psychology, this is called having an M-type brain, where M stands for Multi-Potentialite. Essentially, this is a mind with multi-dimensional potential and talent. A multi-potentialite is someone who does not have one true calling in the way society expects. Instead, they have many paths, many curiosities, and many potentials. Women with an M-type brain possesses extremely diverse interests that don't stay stuck on just one subject. Today they are diving into the science of brain, tomorrow it's acoustic music, the day after it's ancient history, and then culinary arts. People who view this from the outside often assume the lack commitment. But the reality is that their M-type brain is neurologically wired to seek out novelty and learn new things. Researchers in psychology at the University of Wisconsin found in the studies that individuals who possess multiple diverse interests exhibit much higher levels of creative problem solving and adaptability. This is because their mind can make connections between completely unrelated fields, a psychological phenomena known as synthesis. So this is not a cognitive weakness, it's an extraordinary quality. Women with an M-type brain have the ability to view any topic from different perspectives and understand it deeply because they are not restricted by one track thinking. If you have an M-type brain, or if you love someone who does, you will recognize these 4 defining psychological traits. First trait, they would have a need for deep inquiry. These women ask a lot of questions. Their minds love diving into the depth of things. If you tell them a fact, they won't just accept it, they will ask why, how, and what is the psychological reason behind it. They are constantly looking for the underlying patterns of life. Their trait number 2 is high need of solitude. They enjoy spending time alone. This does not mean they're antisocial or suffer from social anxiety. Rather, they require quiet solitude for emotional processing and cognitive integration. They love getting lost in their interest, reading, and living in the rich world of their own thoughts. It's how they regulate the nervous system. The third trait is boundless curiosity. Their curiosity is not superficial, it's an active driver of their well-being. An M-type brain takes deep joy in the process of learning. For them, learning is not just a means to an end, it's the form of self-care. Another trait they possess, the threat of cognitive overload. Because their minds are constantly open to new stimuli, they are highly susceptible to cognitive overload. When they try to pursue their many interests at once without structural boundaries, the nervous system can become overwhelmed, leading to mental fatigue and stress. Here I have a question for you. If you are an M-type thinker, have you been judging your curiosity as a lack of focus? How would it feel to view your diverse interest as a sign of cognitive richness instead? So here's a question: why society struggles to understand them? The biggest problem women with an M-type brain face is that society operates as a conformity bias. People see them as strange because they do not fit the typical mold, while others are focused on a single career path or a single hobby. These women dive their time among many different pursuits. When everyone else is gathering to gossip, they're occupied with a new book or creative project. Because of this, people may judge them as an arrogant, distant, or label them with phrases like, "She just can't focus on anything." This is the most painful part of their experience. Society has created a very rigid linear mold for women, and anyone who steps outside that mold is often pathologized. But the truth is, human potential is not linear. If a woman is interested in many different things, it isn't restlessness or lack of discipline, it's the natural, healthy expression of her M-type brain. Now, why does this happen? What actually causes an M-type brain to work this way? Psychology points to a few key factors. First, innate neurological structure. Some people are simply born with highly active associative networks in the brain. Their brains naturally connect distance concept and require more cognitive stimulation to feel satisfied. Second, upbringing and psychological safety. If a girl grows up in an environment where she is given the freedom to read widely, ask questions, and express her curiosity without judgment, her brain develops a strong foundation of intellectual self-confidence. Third, independent thinking and self-trust. Women with an M-type brain often have a high degree of self-awareness. They choose to listen to their own inner compass rather than conforming to established social norms. Despite these trends, women with an M-type brain face unique emotional challenges in relationships. Because they need solitude to recharge their minds, partners or family members may mistake their quiet time for emotional withdrawal or distance. The pressure to conform. Family members may pressure them to be more normal. They are told to stop buying so many books, stop changing hobbies, and just settle down. This is incredibly painful because it's asked them to reject their needy nature. The lost label. When they share their diverse interests, others often tell them they're confused and don't know what they want. But in reality, they know exactly what they want. They want to experience the fullness of their multi-dimensional minds. To heal from this social pressure, we must practice acceptance. Acceptance means recognizing that your mind does not have to fit into a mold that was never built for you. If you are a woman with an M-type brain, your path to peace is not to force yourself to choose just one thing. Your path is to learn how to manage your energy. Practice mindfulness to notice when your mind is crossing the line from healthy curiosity into cognitive overload. Give yourself permission to rotate your interest. You do not have to do everything at the same time. You can read one book today, paint next week, and play music the month after. Your mind is beautiful, diverse garden. You do not need to cut down all your flowers just to grow one tree. Before you go, if this conversation helped you today, I'd be grateful if you liked and subscribed. It helps Psychology with Hope reach more people who may need encouragement, understanding, and healing. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, take care of your mind, take care of your heart. With love, your Hope.